Hello everyone, this is another review on the professional education and preparation for the licensure examination for teachers, professional teachers. And now for today we will be discussing about, or we will be having a comprehensive review about the action research. Okay. When we say action research, we are trying to find it's just we're trying to find a solution or trying to find or address a certain issues or problems within academic or pedagogical field, such as instructional based strategy approach and instruction and teaching strategies. We're trying to figure out which one or which strategies works best in teaching, and also action research is not just in a classroom base, but we will be also discussing the scope of the action research, because action research is actually within the institutional, within the academic institution, any academic institutions. So without further ado, let's begin about, or let's discuss what is all about action research. Okay, so when we say action research, of course, research means it's systematic. Well, we are conducting a more systematic, and there is a process, okay, that we will be dealing when we are trying to find out a solution. Okay, we are trying to figure out which action or which uh, possible alternatives or intervention that works best. Okay, so when we say action research, according to Mertler 2014, it is a systematic, progressive process of meaningful investigation to to improve and identify problem within one's own teaching practices. Okay, so this is action research now. Where when you were when you read when you read about this definition, we are trying to have a systematic or more on process way of investigating which one. Okay, we're trying to figure out. Okay, trying to find a solution, or we are going to improve a certain practice in teaching. Okay, so if we are going to identify a problem, then we are going to find a way to improve which. Okay, to improve that practice within teaching. So, action research is characterized as research that is done by teachers for themselves. Of course, teachers, okay, when we say teachers, they are the professional one, okay, the professional teachers that are, of course, knows, okay, teachers that know how to conduct research, of course, action research in as we are going to delve into this topic, teachers actually do, okay, or do not just teach, but also to test, okay, something, okay, to test whether this one, okay, this strategy, let's say for example, this strategy works best in teaching this kind of subject to a student, and then this more on implementation now. Okay, the implementation sinks in or involved now after that teacher already established a solution, okay, to a certain problem. But how about parents? According to parents, Thompson defines action research as the process in which participants examine their own educational practice, okay, systematically and carefully using the techniques of research. Okay, so this one, parang ganun nga, it's more on systematic way, and also action research. It's not just investigate, but according to parents, it's examine their own educational practice. So when we see educational practice or teaching practice, it's within the field of how, okay, within their way, okay, within their day-to-day basis, okay, on how they do their job in teaching the students, and that's their practice. Because maybe action research itself is also a practice, because teachers, okay, might not do a systematic way of having coming up with a more established paper of action research, because some other teachers actually believe that if they are trying to assess, okay, they are going to implement certain solution, they are going to implement certain strategy within the classroom, and then they're just going to use assessment there and evaluation. And if that strategy uh, works, then they're going to implement it as within their practice. Okay, but in actual research, it's more on um, we are going to write. Okay, we are going to write a systematic review, systematic process of addressing an issue within educational practice. Okay, so why do we conduct action research? According to Corey 1953, a process in which practitioners study problems scientifically so that they can evaluate, improve, and steer decision making and practice. Okay, so action research also helps in decision making. So by the definition itself, they're saying that the action research helps, okay, where we are conducting action research, because to improve educational practice, to improve teaching strategy, to evaluate, improve, and steer decision making in and practice. When we say improve and steer decision making, it helps the education stakeholders, the other, especially the administrators, and how are they going to papasok na dito yung curriculum development. Okay? For EVOT 1985 naman, a systematic study that combines action and reflection with the intention of improving practice. So it's to improve practice within educational or pedagogical field. Okay, so now that we already defined action research, let's delve into the process of action research. Okay, so we have here a cycle model of the process of the action research, which is the first one is the planning, the second one is acting, observing, and the last step in the process is reflecting. So what is all about planning? So we have planning here. The first one is problem diagnosis. Of course, we can't move on to a to a research without without coming up with a problem, with an issue, with a gap. Okay, for us to come up with our topic. So here in problem diagnosis, we are trying to brainstorm. The first one is we're trying to brainstorm. Okay, what are the what do we observe around in our educational practice, in our teaching practice? What are the gaps there? What are the problems that we encounter? And also, we're trying to came up with which one is the most, okay, urgent, the most, okay, important, based in this critical thinking model. Okay, we are going to rate, okay, the different gaps that we identified. So you, the first one, we are going to use gap analysis. So in gap analysis, you will be asking yourself about the different gaps, problems that you encounter inside the classroom. Answers the questions what should be, what is actual, and what is the gap. And the following terms that you are going to put in your gap is you are having a critical thinking model. You are going to use uh, get the following statements in the gap. Okay, the last column dun sa gap analysis, and then you're going to rate or scale using the critical thinking model for you to come up which one is okay, which one based on the criteria, okay, should be addressed, which problem or gap should be addressed based on the criteria in critical thinking model. So you have here an example of gap analysis. So the first column here is that what should be, okay, what you are something you're formulating a statement or based on your conduct evaluation on your practice on what should be. You are expecting something, okay? And what is actual? The things that you observe in an actual practice, okay? And then what is the gap? Okay, when we say gap, what is, ano na ngayon yung problem? What's now the problem? What's now the issue? Okay, based on, when we say, when there's incongruence between what should be and what is actual. And now you're going to identify what is the gap there. So that's the gap analysis. Next one is critical thinking model. So here, in critical thinking model, you're just going to get the gaps on the third column in the gap analysis. And then you're just going to rate them, okay, based on the criteria. So based on the importance, urgency, relevance to goal, doability, and then you're going to rank them. Okay? So yung kung ano yung, so here in this example, we have 25 science major students have not developed conceptual understanding during physics class. So that's the rank one. So now you already identified uh based on the criteria what's the issue that you're going to address. Okay, next one is after the brainstorming, you're now going to use the bottleneck issues because you're going to come up with a problem tree analysis. Here in problem tree analysis is that, take note, you are going to find the root causes of the problem. Okay, yung mga dahilan. Okay, and for number 3, in selection of topic or alternative, you're going to propose alternatives based on through opportunity 3. You're just going to make the problem 3 propose. You're just going to propose alternatives based on the problem 3 analysis. And now the opposite of the problem 3 analysis is the opportunity 3. And after the opportunity 3, there's an evaluate alternatives based on the decision criteria and decision making model naman. Then so decision making is the final step in problem diagnosis because you're going to come up what are you going to what solution that you think will be will be the main focus of your intervention in your action research. So here's the problem tree analysis. This is the example. Dun sa on the bottom part, those are the root causes, okay, ng problem. So we have here, do not encourage critical thinking among students, more an objective level of assessment, can't provide vision. Some of this is based on your your observation then during your practice. And we have the opportunity tree analysis. Parang gawin nyo lang positive yung nandoon sa inyong problem tree analysis. So in opportunity tree analysis, you're going to propose the opposite of of course the problem tree analysis. In opportunity, you're going to make it more positive way for you to come up with a possible solution. Then after that, you came up with a possible solution. Then here's an example of decision making model because you're going to, yeah, okay, so we have the manageability of data, speed of implementation, cost efficiency. You're going to use this decision making model for you to come up which one and which solution will do you think will work effectively. Okay, that will be part of your intervention. So now you have in planning also in this space, researchers may already focus on one identified problem. So you cannot just some may use yung kanina the different models and analysis that I have discussed previously. You may opt to do that systematically, but for other researchers, they already have a focus or one identified problem based from other documented assessments and doon gagawa ng evaluation within the scope of pedagogy and academic discipline. And some other references may encourage to use the reconnaissance model. In this model, ito na yung you're just going to come up with what's the issue there. Just like you're going to came up with one identified issue, and then there's an issue, then you're just going to look for different literature that focus on that issue, and then you came up with uh with a different the research questions now. Okay, based on the problem that you have identified, and also based on the literature that we uh, find okay available on the different research research journals, okay, and publications. So here's the example. So now that you came up with the problem analysis, you identified the problem there, and then now you're going to propose an intervention. So here's an example of an action research title. So here we have the project prime phase and students' academic performance in physics. So now that you identified the problem now, because there is something wrong in the students' academic performance in physics, in their conceptual understanding, and it affects their academic performance. That's the specific effect. Okay, now, and the root causes is the conceptual understanding, lack of conceptual understanding in physics, and the effect is the academic performance. Now you're going to manipulate that effect by using an intervention. Okay, so we have here in action research title, dapat makita ang independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, so project prime phase is an intervention and it is an independent variable. Why? Because you can able to manipulate that. You are able to change or control a specific scientific experiment to test the effects on another variable. What's the another variable? Of course, the dependent variable, the academic performance ng estudyante. So, independent variable, the factor that the research the factor that the research measures, if it changes in response to the independent variable, in other words, it depends on it. Okay. So independent variable is the one that you control. Okay. And hindi siya naapektuhan ng other variable. But that independent variable will affect another variable. And that will be the dependent variable. Term of reference. So here's the second step for planning is the term of reference. In term of reference, you are now going to establish, of course, the introduction and research methodology of your research. Although some parts here do not discuss about the conceptual framework and also the theoretical framework, but in term of reference, it will already gives you an idea what will be the research background, your research question, your research objectives, and you're going to plan which design you're going to do, research design, the sampling and data collection methods, and data analysis techniques. And it also details the scope of the research, scope and the limitation. And also, part of it, of course, is the intervention plan, the second part of the planning. So first is you're going to establish a term of preference. So the first one where we have here the research background. It is the rationality of the study and presents the narrative of identified root cause of the problem or problem statement, the demographic and general objectives in conducting the study. Research questions. This is the central questions as to find out the information to meet your research objective. So sa research background, we are just going to uh, narrate, okay, the how are you what uh how did you came up with the problem that you identified. You're just going to narrate the first step, which is the problem diagnosis, okay, what are the references, what are the uh proof evidence of your identified problem, bakit nga ba ito yung problema, bakit nga ba ganito, okay. Ilagay mo rin yung general objective, just like researchers, the study aims to improve, ganon. So in research questions naman, it's really specific now. Because in research questions is inclined or aligned with the research objectives. Hindi magkalayo din talaga yan. In research questions, you're just going to have a specific central question as to find out the information to meet your research objective. Okay, and also in research objectives, it is a statement describing what the research is going to discover and find answers to the research topic. So, depende na rin kung ano yung magiging statistical treatment on your research objectives. Because of course, a lot of statisticians that you are going to hire or um, you're going to ask for your study for the um, statistical analysis of your data, they're going to ask you what will be your research objective, because in research, it will depends on what will be your statistical treatment based also on your research objectives. So they so in research design now, sa part na pa rin ng term of reference, you're going to plan ano yung design ng research nyo, whether it would be qualitative research or quantitative research. So alam nyo na yung pagkakaiba ng qualitative. When we say qualitative, it's more on opinions, perception, attitudes, and consequences. And it's more like how are you going to get the data for the qualitative research. Of course, the interview, andun na din yung open-ended questionnaire, andyan din yung focus group, and also andyan din yung observation. That's the qualitative research. Doesn't use numerical variables. Ganon. So in quantitative, use, of course, very objective, very more on numbers. Okay. In quantitative research, use numerical data in quantitative research. So, ganon. And then, but the most common here is the quantitative research. In action research, actually, in action research itself, the action research itself, of course, it has an intervention. Commonly, it's really common that it is already a quantitative research. Okay, and also the design in quantitative research is also experimental research, whether it would be uh, pure experimental, quasi, or true experimental. So here's for if you choose the qualitative research action research mode, this is you're going to collect the data, open-ended interviews, focus group, observation, and so frequently used sa action research is yung observation, and this is how you're going to analyze the data uh, through content analysis, thematic analysis, narrative analysis, grounded theory analysis, and discourse analysis. We will not be focusing more on the qualitative research because we we will focus more on what is the common one, which is the quantitative research design. So ito yung isang example ng qualitative research gamit ng action research gamit ang qualitative research design. Ang intervention niya dito is adding humor and aspects of play. Okay? And then, in an elementary art education classroom, intervention. But for quantitative research, we have here the most common one, which is the experimental research design. Sabi dito, some references said that the action research itself is an experimental design because that it determines the causation or cause and effect relationship between variables. This is one of the most recommended because you are by the definition cause and effect relationship between variables. Because if there's two variables or the dependent and independent variables and there's an intervention, you are now you can easily find out kung ano yung epekto ng intervention sa variable. Okay, so we have quantitative research experimental design. We have the three types or kinds of experimental design. We have the pre-experimental design, and its studies follows the basic feature of an experimental research design wherein an independent variable is manipulated to see its effect on a dependent variable. However, randomization is not applied in the selection of participants. So in pre-experimental, it uh, randomized way of getting the sample is not applied, and there's no control group. So when you say there's no control group, um, you only have one group for you to implement your intervention, and you're not going to see whether if there's a significant difference between the group that will not going to receive the treatment. Dito naman sa quasi-experimental, it will not use also a randomized, okay, way of choosing a participants. Okay, but in quasi-experimental, you're going to use control and experimental group. And for true experimental, ito na yung pinaka strong type of experimental design sa action research kapag we're now going to use randomization way of selecting your participants. Okay, kasi nga, pag randomize, walang bias. And also, in true experimental, just like was experimental, use experimental and control group as well. So, in sampling method, ang common sa action research is the purposive. Okay. And for data collection methods, we have here paper and cell instrument that yields numerical data. First, sa ibang reference, observation and documentation na include yung iba igagamit ng survey, yung iba gagamit ng pre-test and post-test. Okay, yung paper and pencil instrument, just like pre-test and post-test. Okay, pre-test before intervention, implementation, and post-test. Okay, so makikita nyo dito, okay, so makikita nyo dito, we have yung kanilang title ng ating research. We have the intervention, which is that's the independent variable. So that is the treatment to be applied, and then yung titingnan nyo yung effect ng intervention na yun sa academic performance. And yan yung dependent variable na rin kanina. Yung academic performance is to be measured and can be gathered through pre-test and post-test. So yun nga. So we have here intervention, and for you to test if there is a efficacy, there is a significant difference or may impact ba, may influence ba yung intervention na yun sa academic performance ng mga estudyante. Of course, we're going to use pre-test and post-test. Ganito yung format, basic format or conceptual framework na gagawin nyo. Okay, so in data analysis techniques, ito yung common for the action research. We have it for descriptive statistics, measures of central tendency, mode, median, and mean, and measures of variability, standard deviation range, and variance. Okay, pwede rin isali dito yung mean distribution and percentage. And for the inferential statistics, dito nyo nakukunin yung okay, yung may significant difference nga ba between the pretest and post-test ng mga after the interventions being applied, parang ganun. So for the independent test, you are going to compare the two groups, experimental or control group. You're going to compare the two means, okay, from two groups, okay. And for the per test naman, you're going to compare two means from one group lang, measured twice. So example, pre-test versus post-test. Okay? So if you're going to measure yung pre-test and post-test lang ng isang grupo, and if you will going to use probability test. Pero kapag yung dalawang means ng dalawang grupo, independent test. Analysis of variance naman is when comparing three or more groups of our means. And in addition to, we are going to use Cohen's-d to determine kapag na-determine natin na there is a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test of the participants after the intervention is being applied. Now, kapag mayroong significant difference, we are going to get the effect size. Okay, gaano nga ba kalawak ba yung uh, sakop or naging epekto, gaano ba kalawak yung epekto ng ginamit na intervention or treatment. Okay, so you're going to use sa scope and delimitation naman. So, yan nga, sa scope and delimitation, you're going to define the topic and boundaries of the research problem to be investigated. The scope details how in-depth your study is to explore the research question and parameters. Okay, and it will operate in relation to the population and time frame. The limitations of this study are the factors and variables not to be included in the investigation. In other words, they are the So here's the example. The study will utilize PET interactive solution as a tool in intervention program. In this connection, their participating teacher will discuss topics related to kinematics and thermodynamics with students. The grading students at the phone, may time frame. Given on the streak of, pwede natin yung school year, yung time frame. And whereas the study will not focus on the other parameters pertaining to the overall performance of the students, significant difference from traditional methods, and will not measure its significant difference from the physical. That's right. So in planning, andun pa rin yung last step, which is the intervention. So kanina, problem diagnosis. Ano po yung sumunod? After problem diagnosis, term of reference, because you're going to decide ano yung methodology, ano yung magiging research background, research question nyo. And for the last one is the intervention or action plan. We're going to craft the intervention. So when we say intervention, it is all about learning what treatments or strategies work best to improve outcomes and making a difference in what matters most to people. So in action plan intervention program, refer to the planned actions or strategies implemented to address a specific issue or problem. So yung intervention program is yung action, kung nakalagay dito yung date, kung kailan mo implement, nakalagay din dito yung mga plano, okay, andun yung date, andun yung mga steps nyo kung paano nyo i-implement yung intervention. So if yung intervention natin yun yung new, innovative, creative na strategy na i-implement nyo to address a certain issue. Titingnan nyo dun kung effective na ba. Okay, at this last phase of planning, the action plan is developed. It can be presented in a matrix form indicating the activity and the timelines. Okay, so let's move on to the second stage of the implementation, to the second stage of the process of the action research, which is the acting. So you here, you are going to implement now the intervention plan and data. Of course, you're going to collect data now. So of course, prior to the intervention plans, part of it is that you're going to implement first a pretest or diagnostic test. Okay, to the students. This is true to the yung action research na maggugamit ng experimental design. Of course, this is true for the common one, which is the experimental design. Okay, so in this practice, during the implementation, the intervention plan may also be modified during this process, depending on what factors that you foresee or you already experience while implementing the intervention. Of course, that you're not going to go far away on your originally intended uh, strategy. Okay, just modify a little bit about your intervention depending on what is necessary, where is necessary. Okay, so that's the part of the acting, or that's more on the application of the intervention and data collection. And for the third stage, the process is the observing. Now that you are now going to analyze data. In this part is can be found in the results and discussions of your chapter 4. So in observing, you are going to interpret now the data that you gather. Of course, after using the statistical treatment that you establish in the term of reference based on your objectives, now you're going to analyze, interpret the data, whether you already came up or you met your objectives. And for the last part is reflecting. So this is really crucial because you are now going to analyze the findings, whether you came up with a qualitative judgment, okay, evaluation. If you made or you if you ascertain whether the intervention or strategy worked to better understand the reasons why it did not work, and this could lead to the next cycle. So, of course, hindi naman perfect lahat ng research. It one of the characteristics of good research is that it promotes continuous discovery of knowledge and strategies, and that's uh, you are going to provide now in your recommendation. If you identified it, there's a lackings, there's a gap, you identified in your action research, then put it there because that's part of your reflecting. Okay, so it's the process. It's all about the process of action research. Okay, why do we conduct action research? To improve the strategies or pedagogical approach in teaching practice, di ba? It's uh, the main reason why we conduct action research. So let's move on to the teaching internship. Okay, of course, while you are part yun kasi ng ating journey as an intern, okay, is to conduct an action research. So in teaching internship, I will be just discussing to you a little overview on teaching internship because this one is uh, covers something a large portion of the profession. I think it something it is really broad. So in teaching terms, I'll be just discussing to you the introduction of teaching in professional education kasi ito yung mga kadalasan napapansin. Although in teaching internship, there's no need for a review because some of the items uh, that will be occurring that will occur in your licensure examination is that it's more on based on your practical experience. If you already experience it, or if you already know the situation based on the situation, because puro situational kasi yung part dito sa teaching internship because you can easily identify or you can easily find out the right answer based on the practical experience that you have during your internship in teaching. Okay, so teaching internship is the placement of an aspiring teacher in a work environment to enable them to acquire professional experience. So an internship is an opportunity to integrate career-related experience into an undergraduate education by participating in planned supervised work. Kapag sinabing supervised work, alam na si ating mga yung ating cooperating school, yung mga involved na person, the faculty members, of course, importantly, and most especially the cooperating teachers. So does the teaching internship help aspiring teachers for their future career? So why is teaching internship important? It plays a vital role to your success as a professional teacher, and it gives you opportunities to apply what you have learned in actual classroom practice. It also empowers you to perform your roles in your respective level, subject area, and discipline, as well as to prepare you for personal and professional advancement. And it gives you a chance to work under a second teacher who shall serve as your mentor, and that's your cooperating teacher. So there are phases of teaching internship. This is really important kasi dapat laging yung tandaan ito. Yung phases ng teaching internship because ito yung usually na lumalabas licensure examination. The first phase is the orientation sessions. Of course, there must be an orientation before the sent off to the of the different pre-service teachers to the different cooperating schools. So in orientation sessions, you're going to talk with your practicum supervisors and also your cooperating principals and cooperating teacher on how you are going to, okay, what will be the things that you will be doing, what will be the reminders, what will be the important things that you're going to do during your on-site tasks in teacher internship. And for the phase two is you're just go first you before you are going to um, before you're going to indulge yourself in the on-site task in the teaching internships. You're going to observe and build relationship sa inyo sa school, of course, sa estudyante, sa klase, and also with the faculty. And for the phase 3 ending on-site tasks, this is one of the most crucial uh, in the entire journey of an intern, education, student intern, or pre-service teacher na during the on-site task because you're going to write learning plans throughout the duration of your teaching internship, create instructional materials, constructing assessment tools, participating in school activities, and you are also going to do daily teaching tasks. Magtuturo ka na. And also you're going, depende sa yung cooperating teacher, if you are going to make other forms, okay, for you to be able to know how to do, okay, how uh, to be part, okay, to learn as being part of an actual field. So phase 4 naman sa final demonstration and accomplishing exit forms is you're going to execute final demonstration lessons and accomplish evaluation forms and exit clearance. So that's the phase 4, the final demonstration. So these are the legal documents that it is important for you to note. Okay, the resolution number 435, 1997, Code of Ethics for Professional Teacher, RA 10627, Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, RA 7877, Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995, RA 4670, the Magna Carta for Public Teachers, at 40, Series 2012 Child Protection Policy, RA 7836, this is the professionalization of the teacher public. Okay, so that's the end of my lecture for today about the action research and teaching internship. So for you to test yourself, I'm gonna be flashing different questions here because I found a most reliable platform for you to test yourself. So just copy this link for you to direct the YouTube video that you will be answering different questions there, or you can just search Action Research a teaching internship like review on YouTube, and you will find the may nag-iisang video lang ako na nandoon. You'll find different videos if meron bang iba. Okay, you will just going to answer, and you will be answering questions there for you to evaluate your learnings, okay, on my review for today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for so much being uh, for being diligent and passionate and reviewing and in preparing for the licensure examination of professional pictures. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.